This what I'm made for. This is the shit that I came for. Walking this bitch and this game on. Walking this bitch and this game on. This is the shit I was made for.
Yo, what's happening YouTube? Quasi Pro here, aka the Not So Professional Gamer, back with another video. And for those who've been keeping up with the gaming community, then you know that E3 is right around the corner. But for those of you unaware, E3 is basically the Super Bowl of gaming. It's where all the biggest video game announcements are made. And here today, I'm bringing you my top 5 most anticipated games for this year's E3. So without further ado, let's jump into this list. And coming in at number 5 on the list is SpiderMan, developed by Insomniac Games exclusively for the PS4. Now, most people know by now that Spider-Man hasn't really had the best history when it comes to his games or his movies. You know, there were some that was good, but others, well, not so good. This game plans to be a completely different retelling of the Spider-Man story, separate from both the comic books as well as the movies, and it's going to focus on a more mature Spider-Man as he battles to keep the world safe. The game is going to be open world just like Spider-Man games before it, and you'll be able to explore different parts of cities around the world. Hopefully they flesh out the action and have a story that feels fresh, but at the same time it brings something familiar to the fans of the series. This game was announced at last year's E3, and so far both Insomniac as well as Sony Interactive have been kind of secretive when it comes to giving gamers more information on this upcoming title. But with the release of Spider-Man Homecoming later this year, you can expect the hype around this game to be pretty high. So number 5 on the list again is Spider-Man, developed for the PS4. And number 4 on the list is God of War 4, another PS4 exclusive. The original God of War trilogy were some of the most highly praised games for its fast-paced, gory hack-and-slash gameplay and terrific storytelling. So of course fans of the series are eager to see what this game will bring to the table. This story will take place years after Kratos' battle with Zeus and the other Olympian gods, and it will be heavily centered around his new addition to his team, his son Atreus. With this new addition, you can expect a normally violent Kratos to have more of a father-like persona as he and his son travel around the world, and he teaches his son Atreus survival skills and develops his son into a man like himself. The original trilogy focused heavily on Greek mythology and the lore surrounding it, but this game will be newly focused on Norse mythology and its lore. While the past installments were more of a top-down hack-and-slash type of game, the gameplay in this installment looks more to be from a third-person perspective, similar to games like The Last of Us, so you can expect the story and the gameplay to be very character-driven. Aside from the few gameplay trailers and the little bit of the story that we already know, there's not much else that's known about this game, so hopefully at this year's E3 they'll give us a little more insight into the game. Answering questions like, how did Kratos even end up where he is? How did he survive the battle against Zeus in the first place? And who is Atreus' mom? How important is he going to be to the story? Hopefully at this year's E3 some of those questions can be answered. But for now we'll just have to wait and see. So coming in at number 4 is God of War 4, an exclusive for the PS4. And making his way to the number 3 spot is everyone's favorite plumber Mario in his newest installment, Super Mario Odyssey, an exclusive to the Nintendo Switch coming out later this holiday season. Now, not much is known about this game, but from the visuals that we have seen, you can pretty much guess how it's going to be. It's probably going to be a open world sandbox type game similar to Super Mario Sunshine, Super Mario Galaxy, or even the original Super Mario 64, in a sense that it's going to be an open-ended type of sandbox world where different levels are intersecting with each other. Not much else is really known aside from those points. In the trailer, however, you can see that Mario travels around a city that actually has humans. It looks to be reminiscent of major cities in the US like a Los Angeles or maybe a New York City, so I want to see exactly how that's going to play a role in this game. Now, Nintendo has already came forward and said that they won't be having a press conference at this year's E3. However, they plan on doing something similar to their Nintendo Treehouse event, and you can pretty much expect them to have a lot of information about this year's Super Mario Odyssey, because Mario is pretty much the mascot for Nintendo. So there's no way that a game is coming out this holiday season and they won't give much information into it. So hopefully we'll see what they're able to bring to the table. Coming in at number 3, Super Mario Odyssey for the Nintendo Switch, coming this holiday. Now, when you think about games that need a reboot, a lot of games may come to your mind. And one of mine are Final Fantasy VII. And coming in at number 2, Square Enix has finally decided to deliver. They aren't just doing a HD remaster. They're doing a completely different reboot of the original Final Fantasy VII game. It's going to be on a completely different engine, following some of the elements that they've taken from Final Fantasy 15. And based on what I've seen from some of the gameplay trailers, a completely different remodel is okay by me, because this game looks absolutely amazing. It looks to capture all the same feeling that we got from the last Final Fantasy VII back in 1997 and completely rebranding it to fit a newer generation. Now, aside from us knowing that it's going to be a completely different remake of the original Final Fantasy VII game, what we also know is Square Enix plans on releasing this game episodically, meaning that different segments of the game are going to be broken up into different discs and released over the course of the years. Now, with that being said, I'm really hoping that Square Enix decides to have enough content on these discs to constitute a $60 price tag, which you know Square Enix is going to charge. But at the end of the day, come on, this is Final Fantasy VII that we're talking about. So regardless of how they plan on doing it, we're going to buy it anyway. I know I am, because again, Final Fantasy VII is one of my all-time favorite RPGs of all time. And to be honest, with the 10-year wait for Final Fantasy 15 that we had to endure, the game itself didn't really live up to the hype that it could have. So hopefully with this new remake, it'll be able to capture the Final Fantasy fans of the series back like they used to. At this year's E3, Square Enix plans on having a panel at E3 Coliseum. But I'm not expecting much as far as a release date to come for the game, but maybe we can get a little more into the gameplay and where they are in the development stages. Hopefully all those questions will be able to be answered at this year's E3, but for the time being, we'll just have to wait and see. So coming in at number 2 on our list is Final Fantasy VII Remake. Remake. And finally we make it to number 1. The most anticipated game for this year's E3 is another Square Enix title, Kingdom Hearts 3. Now, pardon the rant I'm about to go on for just a second, but I need to address Square Enix for a moment. Because seriously, how many different installments do you plan on releasing before you finally just give the fans what they've been asking for? Think about it. You have Kingdom Hearts 1, Kingdom Hearts 2, Kingdom Hearts 2.5, Kingdom Hearts 2.8, Kingdom Hearts 1.5 plus 2.5. You have all the handheld versions. You have the handheld versions plus the console versions. You have the mobile version. You have the computer version. You get it. You get the point. I get it, Square. We're all fans of the game. But you don't have to keep rebranding the exact same game over and over and over again and tricking the fans to thinking you're giving them new content. We're not stupid. We're not dumb. We know that you aren't giving us new content. Just give us Kingdom Hearts 3. I know it may take a long time to develop the game, but at the very least, give us a release window, give us some more gameplay, give us a little bit into the story. You have so much more to go off of now. You've acquired new licenses like the Star Wars license as well as Marvel licenses, so it's so much more you can do with the story now, and it's so many different worlds that we can explore. Big Hero 6, Spider-Man, the Avengers. It's a million different things that you can add now to make this story the most expansive and detailed story ever. But yet you're keeping so quiet about anything regarding the story. We've gotten a couple of gameplay trailers and a cinematic trailer that doesn't really give us much information regarding the story. We know it's going to be revolving around the Keyblade War, but we could have got that information from playing the last installments. That's not really telling us much. And as of making this video, Square has come out and said that they've been having trouble with the development process. So I'm hoping that doesn't mean that the game is going to continue to get delayed and delayed and delayed. until we finally get the game in like 2027, because at that point I'm just not gonna even care anymore. Hopefully at this year's E3 they'll be able to give us at least a little something regarding it. This is definitely my most anticipated game of this year's E3. I'm just really hoping that Square Enix doesn't disappoint. Like I said, they have an E3 panel. All of those questions can get answered. This is their opportunity to shine. This is their opportunity to get all the questions out the way. So there will be no problems with Square Enix. But for some odd reason, I feel like they're not going to deliver like they supposed to. But I'll just have to wait and see. Number 1, my most anticipated game on this list is Kingdom Hearts 3. And that'll do it for my top 5 most anticipated games of this year's E3. But with E3 being one of the biggest gaming conferences of the year, I'm pretty sure there's some games that I left out. So if there's a game that you'd like to see at E3, then let me know in the comment section below. We'll discuss it. And if you like this video, go ahead and leave me a like. And to stay notified with all my other videos, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And make sure you share this video with a friend. Thanks for watching, guys. Again, that's Quadri Pro here, aka the Not So Professional Gamer, signing out until next time, YouTube. Peace.